for the parts required for our project. This is the NodeMCU ESP8266 module. This is a microcontroller which we will use to control our relay module. Next up is our one-channel relay module. It has VCC, ground, and input pins, and on the output side there's the normally open, common, and normally closed pins. After this, to connect all the components, we will be requiring a breadboard. After our breadboards, we will be taking some jumper cables to connect our components to each other and to the breadboard. Next up, we will be requiring an LED panel, so we can use the relay to control our LED panel. The next step, we will be needing a Bluetooth audio module, which receives the Bluetooth signals from our devices and outputs it to these 3 wires, which will be connected to the speaker, which is also required for this project. This is the top part of the speaker, which will protect the speaker from any damage. Okay, now let's get assembling these parts. Now for the assembly, we will be taking our breadboard and we will be putting our NodeMCU onto this. This NodeMCU is special because there is 1 row of pins on each side of the breadboard to connect wires. Once this is snug and fit, we can take a relay module, which cannot be connected to the breadboard, but we will just keep it on the side like this. Now we'll be taking our jumper wires, which will be in the colors black, red, and orange. The red jumper wire, which is commonly used for power, be connected to the 3v3 pin of the NodeMCU, which, as you can see right there. The next one will be the ground, which we can connect. After that, for the input pin of our relay, we will be connecting the orange jumper cable to the D4 pin. All of these connections will be shown on screen so that it will be easier for you guys to follow. So we can connect the 3v3 from the NodeMCU to the VCC of the relay module, and the ground to the ground of the relay module again. And last but not the least, we'll be taking the D4 pin of our NodeMCU and connecting it to the input pin of our relay module. Okay, so as you can see here, I have added a few extra pins. These 2 wires will be for the speaker power, these 2 will be for powering the relay, and this is what will be powering this entire strip here. This can be connected to an external power bank like this, which we will use to power everything that's connected here. Okay, so first off, for the normally closed port of our relay module, we will be connecting the positive wire of our LED strip to it, which is right there. Just put it in, and then just tighten the screw on top, which will hold this wire safely. Next up, we will be taking our Bluetooth module, and I've extended it with a little bit of wire, as this wire that's already connected to it is not enough. This Bluetooth module has Bluetooth 3.0, and as you can see, it's extremely small and powerful. So we will be connecting this positive wire of our Bluetooth module to the normally open port of our relay module. It might take some time to go in because this wire is extremely thin and it is bending and breaking really easily. Okay, so it finally went in, And now we can just tighten the screw on top. Okay, done. Since these two wires are positive, to the common port of our relay module, you will also need to connect the positive wire. The positive in this case is this wire. As you can see, this is the positive of our USB chip, and we'll be taking this power and plugging this into the common port of our relay module's output. If the wire is too big, then you can just bend it and just twist it again so that the wire will not get exposed and might not also short circuit any of the other components. Once you get the wire inside, just tighten it with a screwdriver, and then we are done with the relay part. Yeah, there we go. Now we're done with the relay part. Okay, so for the other half of our components, which is the negative side, we will just twist together all the negative wires of our LED and Bluetooth module. Then we'll be taking the negative of our power supply, and we'll be joining that with this. In the last, once we're done with all the connections, we can just tape this together with some insulation tape to make sure that no foreign particles or any other wires touch this. Okay. Okay, so I've taken the speaker and its controller board out of its housing, as this is not necessary for a project, but for the final result, we'll be joining them together. Okay, so if you look closely at the speaker board, you can see that there are 3 pins, namely L, R, and G. These 3 pins are known as the left output, right output, and the ground for our speakers. These 2 wires here are for the power for the speaker and its controller board. This is a potentiometer which controls the volume and the power of our speaker. Okay, so this controller board's printing might not be that clear, but I'll put up a picture of this so you can just follow the instructions easily. The first pin is the left out, so if we find the left out in our speakers, we can see that it's a blue wire, so we just twist this together. The last, we'll just tape it together for extra safety. Okay, so now that we're done with that, next up is the right output, which is this wire of our Bluetooth module. We will just be tightening this together. Last but not the least, we have the ground. So taking the ground from our speakers, and we'll be connecting this to the ground of our module. Once we're done with these connections, from then on, it's just connecting these power cables, which the positive is this one, and the positive of this is the white colored wire. So we'll just be connecting them like this. Okay, and then the negative wire, which is going to be the blue colored. Okay. Now we're done with mostly all the connections. We just have to tape them together for extra safety. And now we'll be moving on to the coding part, which will be controlling the NodeMCU to signal the relay module to turn on and off. When it turns on, this speaker will start working. When it turns off, this LED chip will be on constantly. Okay, now to the coding part. So now we're here in our Arduino IDE, and I have opened my code right here, as you can see. So first of all, we have two libraries, which is the ESP8266 Wi-Fi library and the webserver library. Webserver library is used to create the web server in which we can control our relay module. This is just information about the relay, and this is according to how many relays you have. According to our project, we only have one, so I just left it as one. But if you have more, just change this. And this assigns a GPIO to each relay. I'll be putting a picture up on the screen which shows the pinout of the NodeMCU. So in this case, we've connected our input pin to D4, which in GPIO terms is GPIO2. This will be your network credentials. You have to make sure that they're properly entered, or else your NodeMCU will not connect to your Wi-Fi. And then after that, this is just information on how the server is created. And this is the HTML code, part of the code. This designs how the web server is going to look. Once we've connected to the web server, then you can see there's just some other stuff about how the HTML part of it works. And then from here, this changes the placeholder, which is mentioned over here. The placeholder is like a place. Okay, so yeah, it just changes that to a button. And then this is the serial port, so you have to make sure that you're connected to this serial port when you're in the serial monitor to make sure that you get the correct information and the IP address and all. So once you're connecting to the Wi-Fi, like once you upload the code in the serial monitor here, you'll be having information like this will pop up, and I'll just say connecting to Wi-Fi. Until you connect to Wi-Fi, this will keep on repeating. So yeah, after that you will have to, there's just other information about how this web server should work like. And yeah, that's it for the code.